Let's talk about marketing, right? You actually have real, and I can see the smile on your face. I know you're very passionate about this. Rachel shared that with me. Share quickly what your background in marketing is and what were you able to pull out of that? Like, because there's a concept of working with like true luxury, right? Like it's a
Mhm.
whole experience, right? What were you able to draw from that into the real estate world and kind of share that with our agents?
Yeah. So yes, I do have a very extensive background in luxury, in marketing and luxury in particular. I was in the agency world for almost a decade. I worked in brand strategy and digital marketing. I worked for some of the largest brands in the world. I was actually telling Rachel yesterday when I worked for a company called Interbrand, which is the world's largest brand strategy consultancy. I worked for Interbrand for a number of years. My last day at Interbrand was presenting the global brand strategy to the chief marketing officer of Visa. So it was
Oh,
literally
wow.
my very last meeting, my very last day of my tenure at Interbrand was presenting the brand refresh to the CMO of Visa. So I did brand strategy for a really long time. I did digital marketing for a long time. And then I was the chief marketing officer of a fashion technology platform called Tradesy. It's a peer-to-peer marketplace for designer fashion. So I sort of think of my Venn diagram as luxury, marketing and branding, and technology. And so my time at Tradesy really was the intersection of those things, selling designer fashion specifically and running all of our marketing, merchandising, brand communications, etc. Um, and prior to that, way back when in the early 2000s, I was at eBay and I ran the designer handbags category. So again, another luxury consumer. And people often ask me, how did you go from luxury fashion to real estate? But the parallels are really, really strong because most of our markets are luxury markets. And certainly the Los Angeles market in particular is a predominantly luxury market. And so, selling luxury goods is selling luxury goods, right? Whether you're selling a $10,000 handbag or a $10 million home, the customer is the same, the dynamics are the same, and the nuance is very, very similar, right? I think in luxury, there's so much of the detail that really, really matters. And I think it's detail that's really easy to sort of set aside if you aren't in the luxury market, which is totally fine, by the way. I don't think every experience of selling a home needs to be a luxury one. But when you're looking at a certain price point, I think it's really important to understand the expectation of that consumer, right? Of that client at the end of the day, that um, there's a business of aesthetics, right? And we all know how important it is to stage a home, for example, right? We all have seen those listings on Zillow or Redfin where the homeowner has taken the photos themselves with an iPhone, and you see the messy bed in the background, and you think, this went from being a $1.8 million home to a $1.5 million home just because they didn't make the bed. And so you take that kind of logic and you extend it out to that higher price point and to the consumer that really has a refined expectation and an elevated expectation based on the amount of money they're dropping, right? They want to be able to visualize this lifestyle that they're buying. And I think that that's a really important thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about the luxury consumer, is that they're paying for